everyone, it's Vanessa V, and welcome to my channel. Last week, if you'll remember, we are going to get to fear and anger in just a second, but as you guys know from last week's video, which I will post below if you haven't seen it, I have been trying to dye my hair for one of my dearest friends who was diagnosed with breast cancer recently, and I tried to dye it last week. It didn't work. It just kind of didn't really show up and turn my hair weird. So this week I decided to try something that just you sort of spray on. Now, I wasn't expecting amazing results, but I was expecting something more than what this is. Something different, something better. But luckily it's not permanent or anything. But anyway, this is the product. It is called Be Wild. I got it on Amazon. I will link it below for you. So I'm not sure if I should throw this up into a bun or just kind of leave it like this, but honestly, it's not even funny enough to leave it. I mean, well, it did kind of make me chuckle, but it's not funny enough, and I think it just might be distracting. So I'm gonna throw it up in a bun really quick, and I'll be right back. So yeah, that's how you do it. Ta-da! But anyway, if you guys have any ideas, feel free to message below or private message me. That would be great. And if you'd like to continue to send those amazing vibes to my friend, that would be great. So let's get started. Alrighty, so today I wanted to chat about what I wish I had known about fear and anger, because it's something that I really wish I had known long ago, like when I was little, that I didn't know until quite a few years ago. And it was just sort of this aha moment for me that sort of revolutionized my mindset about fear and anger within myself and within others. So I definitely wanted to touch on that, especially since at the time of posting this video, it's October, it's Halloween time. So it's a perfect time to talk about fear, especially in fear and anger. So we can all feel fear and anger. I'm gonna mess up feel and fear a lot. But anyway, we all tend to feel fear and anger from a day-to-day basis, weekly, monthly, yearly, whatever. It's all different for each of us. And fear and anger just tend to be a huge topic. Well, huge topics, really. And so what I've done is broken it down a little bit into really the main point that I want to make. That way it's more digestible for us to understand. And also, I don't feel like it's talked about enough. I really don't. So it was important for me to share this so that you guys can experience this aha moment just like I did. Couple of questions before we start. First of all, what does fear mean to you? What does anger mean to you? How do you react when you are experiencing those emotions? And how do you react when others are expressing those emotions? I know definitely for me, anger and fear meant different things before I learned this information. So because of all that I went through and the trauma that occurred, the toxicity that I was surrounded by, the toxic people I was surrounded by, all of that toxic environment and etc., and not getting the help that I really needed. Fear and anger, what I was experiencing from others and what I experienced from myself, was that they were bad, that they were not okay. So whenever I experienced those emotions, I just shoved them down. And I also felt really guilty when I felt them, because I felt as though perhaps I was failing, even though sometimes even now when I experience them, I kind of feel that way, but I try and help myself out of it and all that stuff. But what it did for me before was it fed into this cycle of fear and anger, fear and anger, fear and anger, because I was afraid of feeling them and then I was angry when I did. And it just continued to cycle. And also when it came to other people, I tried so hard to avoid making anybody angry, because I noticed when they tended to be angry, bad things tended to happen. So it was part of what caused me to feel as though I was in control of other people's emotions, that if they got angry, it was my fault, that making other people angry or when other people were angry, that was bad and something to be very scared of, and so I would shut down a lot, and I never really saw a middle ground. So I either thought, well, you're angry or you're happy. So now that it's different for me, and also with the fear, I have a much more healthier, gray zone, balanced view about when other people feel that way, but also when I feel that way. They tend to not feel very good, right? At least fear, definitely. But I think also with anger, it can sometimes not feel good when we're angry, but especially afterwards. Especially if we have made some decisions that weren't necessarily very rational decisions or in line with who we truly are, because we were acting and reacting in a very heightened, alert, focused, charged state in that survival state. All right, are you ready? Okay. Basically, the connection between fear and anger, and the thing that I wish I had known from like being born basically, was that, or is that, fear causes anger. Therefore, anger is caused by fear. Therefore, behind anger is fear. Ding! Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about fear. Now, this I found interesting as well. At its core, what I have learned is that fear is about loss. That is the golden nugget for all things that we fear. I didn't know that. So if you knew that, awesome. You were way ahead of where I was before I learned this. And at first when I heard that, I was just sort of like, well, I don't really think that that's entirely true, because when I was thinking about all the things that made me cause fear, I was like, well, I'm not afraid of losing something or this and that and the other. But when I thought about it, I really copied and pasted it to my own self. I thought, no, really, at the core of it all, I was afraid of loss. Now, what does that mean? When we get triggered, our subconscious brain gets triggered by something that is scary, and we start to feel afraid. There is this loss of knowledge about what's about to happen, what's going to happen, possibly what is it. There's a lack of knowledge. And so to me, that definitely plays into that loss factor. Also, things like loss of a job or loss of relationships, loss of respect, loss of safety, like I just said, loss of clarity. The list goes on, but really, I do feel that that's actually accurate, that it really is about loss at the core of everything that we fear. And that was one of the aha moments for me in this big aha. Oh, and even the Stress and Scary Movies video that I posted 2 weeks ago, which I will also link below, that also talks about how the brain reacts to fear. Now, anger, according to all the information that I've gathered throughout the years, is a form of fear, and it's actually a release of our fears. And when we feel anger, we feel fearless, which kind of makes sense, because a lot of times when we feel fear, we are uncomfortable. It doesn't feel very good, right? But what it also does is it gives us that energy to fight or flight, like what we talked about in that stress, worry, and anxiety video and a couple other videos that I will post below. So basically, with the brain, our subconscious brain gets a trigger that there is a danger something in our environment, or it's just getting an alert that there's danger. Maybe we have some negative thinking going on or whatever. Whether we think it's rational or not, that subconscious brain is going right into a survival state, and it's going to use that anger. Once it feels that fear, it's going to use that anger to try and keep us safe. So it's all about survival. And again, it goes back to that loss, right? That loss of safety, perhaps the loss of our lives or someone else's life. There's unknown, so perhaps there's extra danger that our subconscious brain is sort of sensing. So in a nutshell, anger is considered a secondary emotion to fear because it occurs after fear. So again, behind all anger is fear, which to me was the aha thing for me, and I'll tell you why in a second. So like I said earlier, we can experience fear and anger in reaction to lots of things on a spectrum, whether they're very low stakes things like say we're at a drive-through and they don't have what we want. I mean, a strawberry sundae is a strawberry sundae, am I right? But then we also have things at the other end of the spectrum that are actually high stakes. Like we are in an actual, real, dangerous situation where that fear and anger can actually save us. The power in this for me is sort of understanding in the moment when I'm feeling these things, where those or what those experiences are. And so really to me, that's what all of this is about. And that's why it was such an aha moment for me, because I felt like I had control. And I felt like they weren't as scary to me. It sort of cut that cycle for me when I was feeling fear or feeling anger, to understand what is going on mechanically, so that I not only understand the root cause, but then I can also understand the solution. And now, whenever I do feel fear and anger, I'm immediately able to just go through certain steps and just go, okay, what am I afraid of? Or, okay, is what I'm experiencing, am I perceiving it? Is my subconscious brain perceiving it accurately? Now, that can be really hard, and that's why we use a lot of those stress hacks and everything that I'll link below to help us get out of that irrational thinking into more rational thinking. But I've learned over time so much that when I'm experiencing those things, to try and drop myself into a rational place and then sort of think to myself, is how I am perceiving the situation accurate? Is how I am feeling matching the accuracy of the situation? And also it just helps me know what to do to release it and help it dissipate. And so when I do feel fear and anger now, oftentimes it goes away much faster. It's not as hard to get rid of or to walk through, because I don't necessarily want us to shove them away, but to walk through and process and understand what's going on without them taking over and having control over me and causing me to feel and possibly react in ways that me, true, healthy, balanced me, would not react as or feel. So really at the end of the day, the most condensed form of sort of a tip I can give with this ginormous topic of anger specifically is when we are feeling or experiencing anger within ourselves or possibly others, but really within ourselves, it's just to go, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid of losing at its core? And then why? Why am I afraid of that? And once we've calmed down, perhaps we've used some stress hacks, or we're just able to sort of calm us, or using that inner rhythm hack a little bit, then asking ourselves, is this logical? Is this actually proportionate to the situation at hand? So not only do I copy and paste this info to all aspects of fear and anger in my own life, but I do copy and paste it onto other people as well. When I see other people or experience other people being afraid or angry, what it actually helps me do is just understand right from the get-go that they're afraid of something. That's it. What are they afraid of? I ask myself that, and it helps to not only have me empathize with them a lot easier and a lot faster, it also helps me just see them for what they are. They are a scared human. And it helps me to not feel as angry or as afraid, because when I see it for what it is, it helps me stay calm so that at least one of us is thinking more rationally and we can sort of dissipate the situation much faster and find a solution. So what might help you, especially if you have little kids, now I'm not a parent, so I'm not trying to tell anybody how to parent, but I know for myself as a kid, what would have really helped me was if someone saw me being afraid or acting angry, to ask me what I was afraid of, but also to help me calm down with those stress hacks and everything that we talk about on this channel. Because sometimes, you know, when you're angry, you don't want to think, or you think you're not afraid of anything and all that stuff. So go at your own discretion, if that makes sense. So all in all, with that quick point is just a reminder that fear and anger are protective emotions. They are survival related at the core, and they're not bad. They are totally normal. When it can turn sour is when we feel them chronically, when they become out of our control, and when we make poor decisions because of them. Now, really quick before we go, I do just want to say that not all actions with anger are necessarily healthy. And if you feel that you are in a situation that is not healthy, that is toxic or dangerous, it is important for us all to feel safe, and you deserve to feel safe. And I am going to post some resources below for you to go to should you feel the need to reach out to someone or to learn more about how to handle that situation. It's just a few starting points, but hey, it's something. And also, if you are someone who feels that you need additional help with your anger or fear, I will also add some additional links below for you as well, and you also are not alone. There you go, guys. I hope that this video was full of awesome, inspiring information for you that's gonna help you not only be true to who you are, but to also live your best life starting today. In the words of Vincent van Gogh, there is peace even in the storm. I love that. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. I'm sending you awesome vibes, and I will see you next time. Bye.